In general, it's of course fantastic to have 118 patient advocates at ASH, because I've been at ASH I think for the 9th year now, and when we started we were a handful of people, we were aliens in this cohort of 30,000 hematologists and pharma people, and now we're in the middle of it, and we're in the sessions, we're asking questions, we're in the meetings and side meetings. So from that perspective, there's been great development over the years. But from ASH side, we don't see much progress in terms of really involving patients in the program and giving patients a voice in that scientific conference. Look at the difference to EHA. We have patient advocacy tracks, we have people in the scientific sessions, we have capacity building meetings for advocates where we're trying to explain them how science works or how initiatives like European reference networks will help research. We are much more integrated in Europe, and here in the US we still see this is a conference for doctors. We're happy to be here. Many of us need to pay fees to go and to come in. I think ASH needs to learn a lot about this. The interesting thing about ASH is not only the official program. Of course, we love to go to the scientific meetings, to the official program, not only education sessions, but also all the scientific sessions to hear news about research. But we know this is only half of the story. All the study group meetings are here, all the academic groups are meeting, all the pharma companies are having their investigator meetings. And for example, I've been participating in one investigator meeting this year where a new drug was being discussed and where, let's say, early thoughts about the protocol was being discussed with key opinion leaders in CML. And I was part of the team, felt great, and people afterwards said it was really valuable because we had a different perspective on a number of things in terms of the ethical considerations about comparative arms or about dosing and about regimen and things like that. Probably a different perspective than the doctors brought up, which were of course very focused on trial methodology and about the outcomes and endpoints and so on. So I think great team, and it's really fun being in there, and I think there's a great development over the past years. We're now being seen by the hematologists being part of the team. Feels great. I would say patient centricity is in everyone's mission and glossy paper statements, and some companies are quite good in it, so they involve us pretty much. I've had a couple of meetings here with different companies where we were discussing about how can we get patients into early involvement when the clinical development plans are being defined or when the protocols are being defined and so on. So I see a lot of progress, even though I would say that developing the company processes to systematically do that is in infancy, and that's why EUPATI, the European Patients Academy, is so important, because we're educating and training patient advocates can actually contribute to that process in a very notable manner. But I think one of the deficiencies that companies still have is they don't understand or they don't really think about what patient input means. They want to have patient input and very committed to that, but do they need input from the individual patient with his own subjective disease experience, living with a disease or living with a side effect or a specific therapy? Do they want a patient advocacy input of a patient representative that actually oversees a larger group and knows what the community wants and what the different, let's say, subpopulations of patients want? Do they want a patient expert that actually understands trial methodology and can also comment on the technical processes? Or do they want a patient representative that actually represents the organization's view formally in such a meeting? I think there's still some learning to be done on that. But I would say there's great progress because everybody is aware about the value and the input that patients can bring into that. And companies are getting better, and the academic groups are getting it too.